And it wasn't just the school systems that were better before desegregation. It was the entire community that was better before desegregation.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Let me get rid of this, but and read Uncle Brother's comment. Hold up. Now he's kind of losing me. My mother was an educator and used to decry the designation of the school system. She insisted black schools were better before desegregation. See, I agree with you on that. That's the point that I was making. And this is actually, all right, Uncle Brother, we finna go down a rabbit hole, because when you say that, I 100% agree with you. Like, and this is what a lot of us, especially if you're not willing to challenge the things that you learned growing up, I don't think that you'll ever get to this point of what we're getting ready to discuss, based on Uncle Brother bringing up such a great point. Life was much better in a lot of different ways for the black community before desegregation. But because, and this is just my opinion, because the grass is always greener on the other side, because people always want what they can't have, that fear of missing out, that FOMO, we fought for segregation so much because I don't want to live in this black neighborhood. Shoot, as soon as I get some money, I'm going to go move into a white neighborhood. Maybe you have legit reasons for that. And some of them are. I don't need to, I'm just being for real. If I'm growing up in the Bronx right now, if I'm growing up in certain places right now, then yeah, I'm leaving. I get to a point, I'm leaving that community. I'm leaving that community because I don't want my kids growing up in that. I do not want to worry about my wife walking around in that neighborhood. So I'm being totally honest with y'all. That is how disgusting our neighborhoods have become. And that is why on the last show, I said that it's safer for a white person on Wednesday night. I said that it's more dangerous for me walking through the Bronx right now at this time than a white person, in my mind. That's because that's how the neighborhoods have become. And it's because of what you said earlier, Uncle Brother. We've been derailed. We fought so hard for desegregation that we ended up not even paying attention from a logical standpoint of all the things that we would lose, because we were such emotionalized in saying, well, we want to eat at your restaurant. We want to drink from your water fountain. We want to be able to go to your schools. That was some of the most dumbest thinking or misinformed thinking that we could have. Just look at the results of it. Tulsa, Oklahoma was not, it was destroyed by the what happened with Black Wall Street, but it was rebuilt. That's not what ultimately destroyed Black Wall Street. What ultimately destroyed Black Wall Street is black people no longer wanting to shop in black stores and wanting to go elsewhere because they thought that the white products were better. What destroyed the black businesses in the black neighborhoods were not white people. It was black people no longer wanting to frequent those stores. When there was segregation, black people had their own, and I may sound like a nationalist right now, but I'm just calling it as it is. I'm sitting back, I sit back and listen and watch some of these videos and movies that come on TV, and I'm like, damn, y'all were allowing these folks to put ketchup on y'all, to spit on y'all, to do all types of crazy stuff when you wanted to eat at their restaurants. So here you're going through all this to support them and give them money to support their businesses when you could have just went and ate at a black-owned restaurant. Just think about that. That's Stockholm syndrome. That's falling so in love with my abuser that I'm going to fight to give my abuser money, who doesn't even want my money, who doesn't want to provide me a service, who I'm going to pay them a certain amount and then go pick up my food in the back or have to ride on the back of the bus. All of these different things. That's Stockholm syndrome. But I'm going to fight for desegregation. So what did we lose? We lost all those black businesses. We lost the black grocery store, black attorneys, black doctors, everything that you drive around in the neighborhood. Think about it like this. The next time you're driving around in a downtown or uptown part of your town and community, notice all the businesses that were there. All of those businesses before segregation in a black community were black. So that's why the money was recirculating in the black community. Look up how fast the black dollar leaves the black community. It's worse than any other community. Look at the successful communities. They recirculate their dollars within the community. We don't even have the businesses to recirculate our dollars. Just look at your credit card statement or your debit card statement. Look at the last 20 purchases that you made, and you tell me how many were black establishments compared to other establishments. And when you go to your bank, you tell me who you're providing. Like, do we understand the mental brainwashing that had to occur for us to fight to bankrupt our businesses? This is the same thing that comes up when I talk about my uncle. When I talk about my uncle and Jackie Robinson. My uncle was the second black baseball player in the major leagues after Jackie Robinson. He was the first in the American League. That was something that I celebrated my entire life, and I still celebrate. However, until, and I started to think about it, but it didn't hit me until a Jewish lady, a white Jewish lady, I believe she was Jewish, who ran the Yogi Berra Museum. And it was a February, this may be 10 years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was working with the Yogi Berra Museum. And this very nice lady, she told me, she pulled me to the side, and as we were walking through the exhibit, and she said, well, yeah, you know, the worst thing about this is, as all these players left the Negro leagues and went to the major leagues because they wanted to play in the major leagues, all of these successful black businesses, all of these baseball teams that were successful black businesses, just like the Yankees are a successful business. Yeah, well, the Kansas City, the Monarchs, all these teams were successful. The Newark Eagles, where my uncle played, they were successful businesses as well. And they all became bankrupt because the black baseball players wanted to play in the white league. Branch Rickey was not trying to make a decision just because he thought that black people should get a fair chance, and that black people, oh, I got to do this for black rights and civil rights. Branch Rickey did that as a business move. The Negro League teams, please understand this. The Negro League teams were more successful than the major league teams. The Negro leagues were selling out of the stadiums that the major league teams played in, and they couldn't sell them out. And they were doing double headers and selling them out. Satchel Paige had his own private plane where his team would fly on. We make a big deal with Caitlin Clark. You know, oh, now the WNBA teams can fly private. Satchel Paige was doing that years ago in the Negro leagues. Almost damn near 100 years ago. 80-something years ago? What was it? That's when he had it. So when we look at from a psychological standpoint, the impact that this mindset has had, we destroyed all of our businesses. We neglected all of our businesses. And that's what ultimately destroyed them, because we always associated things that white people had with being a higher standard of the things that we had. And that, to me, is a lot of the reason why we're in the position that we're in today. So going back to your point, Uncle Brother, I'm not sure that that's the lane that you wanted to go down, but that's what I see as happening in our country. Hold on. And Quee said, oh boy, I'm not the one to sit and complain without doing nothing. Real, bro. I'm not about to just sit and complain and not do anything. White only pause. That's what it comes down to. Y'all saw the movie Life, white only pause. If it says white only pause, can you imagine? Think about this. When you go into all these stores now, what do they have on the packaging? Women owned, black owned, right? Now that's the thing. Can you believe that we were fighting? We were fighting to buy white only pies. Like, imagine somebody trying to, do y'all understand? Have y'all ever been in sales? Have any of y'all ever been in sales? Queez, I know you've been in sales. Selling something is extremely hard. Like, selling something is hard. To sell something to somebody, it's not an easy thing. Can you imagine the mindset of a people that they're fighting to buy something from you? And this goes to the point that one of my mentors taught me. You gotta pay attention to the messages and the lessons that your mentor teaches you. Take it away. When you take something away from people, they want it more. They can't help themselves. They took away, this is a white only pie. And now black people fighting and clawing to go buy a white only pie from a white business that does not value them as even citizens or people that should have the same rights as them. Just think about that mental manipulation, that psychological warfare. Just think about that. Uncle Brother wrote, I'm with you, brother. We got brainwashed into shooting ourselves in the foot. It's just a shame. It's a shame. And this comes up in a lot of different ways now, in my opinion. This is why, and to me, this is why, how can I say this? This is why conservative values are appealing to a lot of Black and Latino men, in my opinion. Let me just speak from let me not speak for everybody. Let me just speak for myself. This is one of the reasons why conservative values are appealing to me, rather than Democrats acting like, oh, we're going to give you assistance. You guys need some assistance. We're going to help you with welfare. We're going to help you with housing. We're going to help you with all these different things. If you just vote for us, we're going to give you all these crumbs, but be happy with your crumbs, because that way you don't have to hunt on your own or learn how to fish on your own or learn how to grow crops on your own. We'll just give you crumbs and you'll just be our little brothers under our wings. Don't worry. We'll protect you. This is why I go with I don't care I'd rather go with the guy that says, I'm not doing shit for you. Figure it out on your own. I'd rather go that way, because I know that that's going to force me to develop certain things on my own, rather than to go away where somebody's trying to pacify me and get me to never stand on my own 2 feet. That is why I'm more attracted to conservative values than these progressive liberal values, where they're dangling these carrots over our heads of what they're going to do for us. Don't do shit for me. I'm good. Can't you see the magic in me, bro? I don't need all of your extra help. I can figure it out on my own. That's my mindset. So, oh yeah, my dad, my dad is in the building. He wants to remind, he's reminding me to tell y'all, make sure that y'all like. It's going to help boost the algorithm. We want as many people in the building engaging in these conversations as possible. So please make sure that you like. Appreciate it, Dad. So Uncle Brother wrote, let's face it, this country would be a complete failure without the contributions of Black people. That's why whites have fought so hard to diminish our worth as a people, as a culture. All right, so let me answer. Let me respond to both parts of it. Let's face it, this country would be a complete failure without the contributions of Black people. I agree. The reason why I was going to say something after I agree is because I feel like the people that came over here, whether it's Christopher Columbus and all that, Christopher Columbus never came here, but whoever was coming here, see, and this is why this is why I hesitate, Uncle Brother. This is why I hesitate, because this is what goes through my mind. When I hear you say that, initially I'm like, well, they would have just found another group of people to enslave and to contribute to the country, which is maybe what we're seeing happening with all of these illegal migrants coming in. This is why they're incentivizing all these people to come in, because they're like, these niggas is getting it's too much work. They're asking for too much. Let's bring some other folk in. That's how I really see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it with a lot of these migrants coming in, and how they're being strategically positioned in a lot of these Republican cities, Republican states, because even though they may not be able to vote, it still changes the dynamics of the electoral college and whatnot, of how many votes you would get and whatever. So neither here nor there. But the reason why I'm a little hesitant is because, one, like, there's two different thoughts. Do you believe that Black people were taken from Africa and all the Black people were brought over in the transatlantic slave trade, and the transatlantic slave trade is, that was the main thing that brought Black people to America? Or do you believe that Black people were already in America? Do you believe that black people from Africa, from wherever else, had already been going back and forth in America well before Christopher Columbus decided to go on his voyage? And it's kind of, you know, and I'm reading Christopher Columbus's book. I haven't gotten to the point where he actually touched land yet, but I'm reading his book on his 4 voyages for the main reason I want to see exactly how he described the people when he landed. And so this is why I'm unpacking all these things with your question, Uncle Brother, because on one end, I'm like, well, if black people were already here, then the Europeans that came over that enslaved black people, I guess it would have been a lot harder to enslave a group of people that, I'm trying to process your question, because I do agree that let's just keep it there. Yeah, I'll just keep it there with you. This country would be a complete failure without the contributions of black people. I agree. They would have had to figure out a way to get those contributions from another group of people, or how to figure it out on their own. We'll just leave it there because I don't want to get off into too many different tangents. Let's just leave it there. And Uncle Brother said, all right, so Uncle Brother's with it. He said, no, there were already black people here. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. So to your point, I'm rocking with you. Yeah, they would not have been able to do it. They would not have been able to do it because I don't think that the transatlantic slave trade happened to the extent that a lot of people believe it. I just don't believe that when you look at the amount of people that died on these supposed transatlantic slave voyages, that it made business sense to bring people from Africa to come here. Now, there would have been some pros because you're bringing people to a foreign land, so they can't adjust to it. They don't know the land as well as you. You're bringing them somewhere different, so they will more so have to rely on you compared to if you go to a land that there's already people there. But I just think that it would have made sense, the type of energy that they're on, we'll just go conquer people. That's what you see happening throughout the world. They just conquered lands, took them over, and did whatever they needed to do with it, or whatever they felt they needed to do. So I'm with you on it. I kind of went off on a tangent. My apologies there. But then you wrote the second part. That's why whites have fought so hard to diminish our worth as a people, as a culture. I can't disagree with that. I can't. Let me actually put that up. And for white people that are watching the show, y'all may be sitting back wondering what exactly that means. Well, what do you mean that we fought so hard to diminish, black people's worth as a culture? Look at Jesus. Let's be real. Let's have the conversation. That's what we're here for. Look at Jesus. We know that symbolism is highly important. Our entire culture is built on symbolism. When we talk about the impact of the music industry, Hollywood, when we talk about the impact of mainstream media, a lot of that is symbolism. It's all based on symbolism. So when you have Michelangelo that is tasked with drawing a new image of Jesus, and the image of Jesus is the Kenny G looking guy that we all associate Jesus with looking like, that Kenny G character that we all grew up in, especially if you go to the black church and you see this white Jesus on the wall. Yeah, that guy, the one at the Last Supper where you see that guy, that's who I'm talking about. That's not even the image that is drawn. It doesn't even look like how the person is described in the Bible, if we're being real. I don't see hair like wool. I don't see skin bronze. So you sit back and wonder, well, damn, why would they change this person's image so drastically different than what it actually says in the Bible? Why not just create something where it looks like based on what the Bible says, right? Like we want to be as close to the truth as possible. Some people will say it doesn't matter. Jesus is whatever color. Cool. Whatever's best for you to believe, you believe that. But we can't ignore what actually happened. We can't ignore that this symbolism was put in place very conveniently, just like the King James version of the Bible was written very conveniently just before this supposed transatlantic slave trade, and Europeans came over to America and tried to enslave or did enslave black people, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually, when they say, hey, you can't read, but what you can do is we're going to give you a religion to learn. And this religion is all based on you obeying your earthly master. And this is going to be your ultimate being, this Jesus looking character. That's who you should worship. And it's just a coincidence that the Jesus character looks just like the people that were enslaving the black folk. Is this too much for y'all? I know this wasn't in the description of what we were going to talk about. So let me know if this is too much for y'all. Uncle Brother wrote, no, there were already black people here. Agreed. There's been a lot of revisions to our history by the oppressors throughout history, actually. A lot of revisions. And you know what? I'm not a victim. Shame on our dumbasses for not looking into those revisions. Shame on us for having, if you go into every black church in America right now, I guarantee you the majority of the Bibles will be those King James versions. Why are you not looking at the Ethiopian Bible, the first Bibles? Why are we using the King James Version? Can you understand how brainwashed a group of people have to be in order to worship a Bible? Forget worshiping their religion. You could worship the religion. The religion did not come from it came from Africa. It came from Ethiopia. It came from Africa. Let's just be real. Christianity came from Africa, as far as my knowledge. So if you want to worship Christianity, cool. But why worship the style of it that was given to you from the people that were oppressing you? Why worship it? Why worship the book, the one that was revised in order to oppress you? Why not get a different version at least? It just doesn't make sense to me. It never made sense to me. Well, I shouldn't say it never made sense to me, but for a very long time. And if you've rocked with me for longer than maybe 10, 15 years, then you'll understand very clearly how I used to think and how I used to put out a lot of these conversations. More so, it's not that I completely changed my way of thinking when it comes to religion, but I just realized that it's such a toxic topic that people are not really ready to have those conversations. So I'm not going to spend every single day researching these things and putting information out if people are not really ready for that or interested in it. But when I do present it, or when it does come up, I'm going to be honest on it. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm keeping up with all these comments. Hold on. Ant wrote, Dak on one today. We hit slavery, Nazis, and Jesus all in 20 minutes. Yo, it's all connected, bro. Is it not all connected? Think about what you just said. We hit slavery, Nazis, and Jesus all in 20 minutes. You can't tell me that those things aren't connected. You can't tell me that a Jewish person doesn't relate to the black enslavement based on the oppression that they faced with the Nazis. We can't look at Christianity and look at the story of Jesus and act as if Jesus wasn't oppressed, as if Jesus wasn't fighting his good fight that he believed was fighting oppression. So, all right. So let's I think we're good on that one. Let's move on to the drones. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.